Hey, hello. Good morning, my darling students. Welcome to class again. This morning we'll be discussing the use of colon and semicolon. Discussing the use of colon and semicolon. And we're doing that based on the following objectives. At the end of the class, you're able to use independently a semicolon and a colon. Then you're able to state their differences and is able to state appropriate situations for their usage. These are the things we tend to achieve at the end of this class. Let's try and note that. Differences, their usage, and appropriate situations to use them in sentences. Let's start with the column. The column, this is always a sign for the column, is a two dots. And it serves different purposes in sentences. It's used to introduce or signals that something follows, like to introduce a list or to explain something. I said to introduce a list or to explain something. Let's see it further here. You can see here, it is being used to introduce a list here. She bought all the ingredients for the recipe. Now the list is being introduced. Colon, then the list comes after. The library offers many services, and the list comes after. You can see the list comes after here. That's the way it is used. Then also, it is used to make explanation, to introduce an explanation with a colon. You can explain things further. The colon, you can explain things further. You see it here. The rules are simple. Now you are explaining further. Saying the rules. Be respectful, follow instruction, and work collaboratively. Those are the rules. Then number two, I said she had one hobby. What's that hobby? Painting. That colon has been used to explain the hobby. That's one. That's another way that colon can be used. First one I said we use colons to state a list. That's one. Don't forget that. Then also I said we use colons to explain further. With colons, we explain things further. Then we also use colons to separate titles and subtitles, or at times to separate times, to separate titles, to separate subtitles, and to separate times. Like in 3:45 p.m., you can see colons between 3 and 45. Then the title of the book, Shakespeare, then the book, the complete work. That's another way we use colon. Let's try and note this. I've mentioned three ways that we use colons now, as in a book subtitle, and to also separate time. Also, we use colon to emphasize for emphasis, and basically it is used in quotation. She said it best. What did she say best? That thing that she said best is quoted for you to see. The teacher said, make, teacher said, practice make perfect. What was said is put is introduced using a colon to to lay emphasis on it. Very important. Then like I said here, to emphasize information, he had one goal in mind. What was that goal? Become the best of himself. There's one thing you need to do to succeed. You need to be determined. So I've mentioned it. I've stated the ways columns are used. I said number one, I said columns are used to introduce a list. I said it is used to separate titles, show time. Very important. Separate titles, show time, and subtitles. I also said that we use columns to explain, to introduce explanation or example. And lastly, I said columns are used to introduce quotation. to introduce quotation. So let's look at this together. Using the information I've given you before now, give me three situations where you can use a colon. Three situations where you can use a colon. So I'll give you 2, 3 minutes to do that. So I'll pause, give you 2, 3 minutes to decide a situation where you can use a colon. So please, everybody get to that now. Get to that now. All right. Welcome back, everyone. I will check your answers in the next class. I'm sure they'll give me good examples to showcase your usage of colon. We'll continue. I will take that in the next class. Then let's move to semicolons. Let's see how semicolons work. Semicolon is always a dot and a comma, a dot and a comma below it, and it serves specific functions also. And the most important function it serves is that it connects two dependent clauses. Clauses that depend on others. It connects two dependent clauses to make them a complete thought. Let's see how it can connect two dependent clauses. The first one is she loves to play piano. That's the first clause. Her sister enjoys playing the guitar. That's another clause. With a colon, we have avoided using and there. We have used and. But with a colon, we can separate those two clauses, make them one, and make them an independent sentence. Make them a simple sentence. But in this case, yes, it's a simple sentence in this case because it has no conjunction in it. Then we use colons to separate ambiguity. We use semicolons to separate where there is column and to avoid ambiguity. You can see a column here. The team members came from various cities. We have colon here stating the cities. Then semicolon is used here to state another series of cities. Then the committee included John Smith, comma, his title was stated, then the name followed. Let's note that. Then here also, we use columns before conjunctives, adjectives, adverbs rather, adverbs or prepositions. Columns are used before conjunctives, adverbs, and transitional phrases. This is another way we use it. Instead of using comma here before however, a column is used before however, then comma is used after the however. So when once we link up phrases together or clauses together using some introducing elements, colons are used to better do that. Let's try note that. I also believe you are jotting and getting some things down in your notes. Thank you. Then let's look at this also. Let's see I can create four scenarios using semicolons for me. So use semicolons for me, creating four scenarios in your notes. Four scenarios in your notes. I will check. Four scenarios in your notes. Let's work on that together. Let's work on that together. I'm expecting you to do that. I will check very soon. Please, you can do that now. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Let's conclude on these notes. Ensure your text before the column is a complete sentence. That is, when using a column, your text must be a complete sentence. Number two, after a colon has been used, you cannot capitalize the next word. You can't capitalize it except it's a proper noun. These are things to note. After you have used a colon, don't capitalize the next word except it's a proper noun. And also, ensure the parts separated by semicolon are related and they have equal grammatical weights. Also, avoid overusing colons, semicolons and colons. Use them once in a while. Don't use them always in your sentences. Use them once in a while. Then you cannot use a colon with a coordinating conjunction. It is wrong. Some of us do it. Don't use a colon with a coordinating conjunction. Is that you use a colon? Sorry, you don't use a semicolon and a coordinating conjunction. You can't combine the two. You can't combine and with a semicolon. No. You use and, or a semicolon. Use or or use a semicolon. Let's have it that way. That's the best thing to do. In this next class, these assignments have been issued out to you. Rewrite the following sentences using a colon and to improve clarity or introduce emphasis. So work on these six questions, work on them. I'll mark them next class. It's important that we mark this next class. I won't take any excuse from anybody on this. Then do further readings. Work on yourself. Don't limit yourself to what I've offered in class today. Do more research. Look for more scenarios where colons and semicolons are used, and I'm sure you'll be better for it afterwards. Thank you for your time. We see you again next class. Before then, go through my assignments, make more researches, and stay safe. Bye bye.